5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Regan Harper, I hear you've been getting dirty.
Have indeed. So Dirt Rally is what we are.
Dirt
here
Rally,
to talk about
Codemasters'
today.
new game now.
Codemasters, newish.
Yeah, I guess not that new.
It's a funny one because the original game was developed for Windows and it was released on Steam yonks ago.
Right.
The reason we're doing it is because it's recently been released about a month ago for consoles.
Right. So it's on Xbox One, PlayStation 4.
It is indeed.
Yep.
I've been playing it on PlayStation 4, which has been a delight. It's been great. So it's essentially a rally simulator, and I use the word simulator purposefully.
Right.
Because a lot of people have come into this game with the expectation that it was going to be quite arcadey, which the Dirt series up until now has been.
Yep.
As we may know. But it's about what you'd expect from this kind of game. You know, you've got different sort of styles of event that you can enter into, and it's quite hard. But the styles of event are, you know, your standard rally, time trial type thing. We've got hill climbs, we've got rally cross, which is interesting.
A nice variety of events there.
Nice variety of events.
Yeah.
But the biggest, the interesting thing is quite a bit of a push towards online play as well. So it's kind of, they got dailies, which
that's like an MMO thing, right?
Yeah, well, that's where I know dailies from, you know, which is kind of interesting. So you can jump on there and they've got daily events where you can. It's basically a one-off time trial. If you screw it up and you crash your car and you go off the track, that's it.
You have no more chances.
You get one opportunity.
Yeah.
So, which is kind of cool, I guess, and it's getting that sort of online thing going.
Yep. I guess
cool.
they're trying to recapture what Drive Club attempted to set out to do when it originally released.
Yeah.
Failed miserably.
Yeah, well, let's not get started on Drive Club, which actually in the end turned out to be an okay game.
That's what I've heard. Apparently, it's actually a very good looking game.
Yeah,
quite a good game.
Fantastic game. It's just how not to release a game.
Yes,
I think is Drive Club.
Absolutely. And Evolution Studios, who made Drive Club, has now been enveloped by Codemasters. Codemasters has bought Evolution.
There you go.
Yeah,
there you go.
They're one and the same now.
That's very cool. So I guess the main thing to keep in mind with Dirt Rally is that it is very much a simulator. So there's a lot of people on the internet going, "Where it's too hard. It's I can't put my foot down," and that's what really appeals about the game to me.
Right.
Is that it is something that you're not going to be good at quickly. And you can get on there and watch videos of people who literally are doing kind of like World Rally Championship level times and things in these cars.
Wow.
And they are very skilled, which is cool. You know, you need a simulator that requires that level of skill is very good.
Is it the Dark Souls of motorsport?
I don't know. I don't know about that.
It hasn't sort of amassed that annoying audience.
It doesn't have the stigma and that ridiculous kind of cultural following that Dark Souls has for sure.
Yeah.
But there is very much a sense that out there's people that it kind of attracts, I think, more just people who are keen on the whole tweaking and the nuances of it.
Right.
So if you look up any sort of advice or tips or things, it quickly gets quite serious about like car setups and suspension and all that kind of thing, because there is a really high level of detail that you can tweak with the vehicle. So that's really cool. I think it lends itself towards those gearheads that really like those tweakers that love all the little bits and pieces and shaving off tenths of a second because they had their brake bias slightly forward or something like that. The other thing with this game is if you're going to get it, you're probably going to want to go out and buy a steering wheel as well.
Right, it doesn't quite have the same feel.
No, but then I would probably say that about most racing games or simulators.
Right, GT and
yeah, exactly. Forza, those kind of games. And yeah, so if you get a wheel, you're going to get a way better experience out of it, I think. Even if it's just a shitty one, go get yourself a shitty one and just, have fun with that. It changes. And having played the game with the controller, the PS4 controller, it's a wee bit clunky to start off with, and you're probably not you're not going to get the kind of times that you want to. Like if you're playing a simulator, you might as well get a wheel to really go all out with the simulator side of it.
I heard that with the accelerator, if you have an accelerator pedal and a wheel and stuff like that, it's a lot easier to control your speed, which you have to do a lot in this game apparently.
Absolutely.
Using the X button, there's really only one speed you can generally do to accelerate.
Well, generally the good thing about the PlayStation 4 controller is that usually the accelerator is R2.
Oh, it's on the trigger.
Yeah, it's on the trigger, so it gives you a bit, but it's still nowhere near the kind of control you get from using your foot on an accelerator pedal that has quite a bit of play in it.
Yep.
So yeah, there's definitely an argument to be made there as well. And the beauty of going out and getting a wheel is it's going to last you the whole console generation. And if you're the kind of person that's into these games, you're probably going to be buying every game that comes out that is a racing game. So yeah, that would be my recommendation. And I guess the only other kind of thing that I noticed with this game is because of that difficulty, it sort of brings up that thing that I mentioned if you've heard the most recent podcast, is that when you're pushing a game to quite a difficult level and you're expecting finesse from your players to be able to do a good job in the game, it really means that your game design has to be on point.
Right.
If you have it, because you're pushing your people to the limit, the game has to work really well at those extremes.
People are going to notice if something feels unfair.
Exactly, that's exactly it. And so there's the game generally does a really good job at that, but the penalty for failure in this game is really high. So it can, one crash can wipe you out from an entire rally when it adds 15 seconds to a time. And there are a couple instances in the game where maybe sometimes I might have gone off the track a couple of times a little bit, and in my mind, I could have recovered from it, but the game had just made the assumption that it was unrecoverable and just immediately reset me back onto the track and added 15 seconds to my time. So there are a couple little instances like that where I sort of thought to myself, that's a wee bit annoying, especially when it's kind of impacting on a 6 or 7 stage rally
turning or something.
But you could equally make the argument the other way and say, well, you crashed, so suck it up.
Yeah. It's never had you throwing your hands up in frustration to the point where that wasn't my fault. That was clearly the game.
No, I wouldn't say so. I think it's important to make the distinction here that if you want an arcade racer that you can feel good at quickly, don't get this game. Don't buy this game. If this is the kind of game where it will be frustrating because you'll quickly realize that you're not that skilled at it. So yeah, if you're into that kind of that sort of thing, then this is the game for you. But it didn't get me to that point where I thought to myself, this game is shit.
Yeah.
It was one of those games that made me go, I'm not doing this right. There's something missing.
To reevaluate and rethink
exactly.
tactics. Yeah.
So that's
sounds pretty good.
Yeah,
it sounds interesting.
It's good, but make sure you temper your expectations with it along to the sim side of things. If you want to have some serious fun, maybe go find a different game. But if you're into tinkering and you like the whole sim racer type thing and you like rally, then you can't really go past Dirt Rally.
Excellent. Sounds great.
Here we go.